let's just take our 9-10 calls. Ashwini, thoughts on index and your 9-10 call?
Yeah, I'm not too keen on the index because you'll have to chase. And the problem with chasing is that if it does not give you follow through, then you are stuck at the highs of the day. So not interested in chasing individual stocks. India Cement is a buy with a stop of 104, target of 116.
Okay, Sudarshan, your thoughts?
Well, I would be buying the Nifty, and Divi's Lab is a buy with a stop of 1680 and a target of 1750.
Okay, Mitesh, up to you now.
I would choose Grasim as a buy call. Keep a stop at 840. Look for targets of around 890.
Okay, well, there is definitely a spring in the step for cement companies. What with the announcement of the price increase, I see one cement company or the other in all our technical experts list as well. And, you know, April is always a month ahead of monsoon when consumption is also high. Okay, there goes the bell, and it is indeed a start that is better than the pre-opening. Pre-opening said about 1/3% higher, about 40 points higher. It's actually 55 points higher now for the Nifty. So 11,680, 11,700, fast approaching. We are within like touching distance. And the Sensex is up almost 200, 187 to be precise. That's about 0.5% higher, 38,888. That looks good. And 0.5% higher on the Nifty Bank. That one didn't participate on Friday, but today it is 0.5% higher, 160 points, 30,600, almost there. Mid caps are actually ahead, like they were on Friday, about 0.75% higher, about 115, 116 points on that index. What's doing well? Tata Motors, actually, after they clarified that the rating downgrade was uncalled for and that they're going to do better in the fourth quarter, probably that. And of course, good China numbers would mean that Tata Motors should have a spring in the step. Vedanta, Hindalco, Tata Steel, the top 5 gainers, 3 of them are metals, again globally exposed. In fact, 4 of them are metals. Vedanta, JSW, Hindalco, Tata Steel. Globally, there is definitely that bullishness and all those companies doing well. Then comes the cement company, Ultratech, up 1.5%. And then just the rest, Adani Ports, Bharti Airtel, Hero Moto, Bajaj Auto, India Bulls. So no one's afraid of the auto sales numbers or their impending weakness. It looks like it's all priced in. Then comes Yes Bank, M&M, HUL, Maruti. Let me look at the very, very short list of losers. Cipla, obviously because of those 18 observations on its plant, down almost 2%. The oil companies are down. Their raw material is just a tad expensive. IOC, ONGC is also down about 0.8. UPL, Z Entertainment, Coal India, and HDFC. Okay, now Titan has also joined the rank. So it's about 10 stocks that are in the red, but 40 on 15.
Okay, and the Sensex crosses its all-time closing high. So drum rolls there. The Nifty Bank is at a record high, and the Nifty itself is less than 100 points away from that all-time high of 11,760. So 3 cheers for the bulls, at least for now. The mid-cap index has opened up very well, 0.6% higher. It's a deep shade of green. Cement stocks are doing very well on the back of that expected cement price hike of 30 to 40 rupees a bag. So India Cement is up 4% right now. It's metals across the board. So SAIL, JSPL, NALCO, the bigger guys, Hindalco, all up almost about 2.5 to 3% odd. Auto ancillary stocks are making a bit of a comeback, and so are auto stocks. So Motherson Sumi, Ashok Leyland, etc. are in the green right now. Maybe the worst of the slowdown is priced in. Other news-based stories on the downside, it's SRF, which is the biggest loser on the back of the shutdown of the Dahej plant. So that stock is in the red. Telecom stocks are under pressure. Vodafone Idea is down 3%. Relcom is down about 5%. And oil marketing companies are coming in for some profit taking. So IOC is down about 2% odd. Cipla as well, because of the US FDA observations, is in the red. Otherwise, it's a good opening for the market, about 0.5% higher on the key indices, and the mid-caps are doing better than the frontliners. Pretty solid, Anuj. Looks like it's just a matter of time before we hit those new highs.
Yeah, but you know, once again, you want to focus on mid-caps, Sonia. Now it's that kind of day. And if you see the top gainers, mostly are mid-caps. I think on Tata Motors in particular, that could well be the stock of the day. This, there's this also this brokerage note talking about this China's manufacturing sector returning to growth for first time in March, and China is a big market. What the note is talking about is that the government stimulus measures will be now gaining traction, and that bodes well for Tata Motors. In fact, that's the stock that they're talking about, potential upside up to 210. That's a GM financial note. So that's looking good. So that's interesting. And also keep an eye on Motherson Sumi as well. Today's auto and kind of day as well. And of course, metals doing well, cement doing well. So across the board buying is visible. Let us see. Now the index is at the high point of the morning. Ashwani, is there a trade on the index, or would you look at an individual stock?
I don't think it's a great buying market, and I like to accumulate stocks once they are down. So yeah, we have opened higher, maybe we'll hang around here, but there isn't a great buying opportunity.
Okay, Mitesh, I wanted your thoughts on Tata Motors, easily your stock of the morning.
Yeah, I think it's going to break out on the intraday chart for sure. It's heading back to those levels of 190, 195. So from trading point of view, it still remains a good bet. Today's low should be a very good stop loss. So that also gives you a good risk reward entry. But that apart, I think in auto also the other stock which I also like is M&M. I think that's opening the gap up and showing clear continuation signals on the upside. So that could also be bought with a stop just below levels of 675 and 705, 710 should be your target.
In fact, this big move happening now on on Tata Motors, of course, up 4% now. Also, Tata Motors DBR is up about 3%, so that's looking quite interesting. India Cement is the top gainer, up 5%. That's the South price hike, obviously helping. Sudarshan, your thoughts? Any interesting stock idea?
Yes, well, apart from the Nifty, which should be bought and then hold on, JSW Steel and Marico, two mid-caps, are now putting their act together. Both are up today and deserve buying.
Okay. Yeah, it's metals and cement today. We should have guessed. I mean, the China push, for us, the China exposed stocks seem to be metals and Tata Motors, both of them just up and away. India Cements is the one that's doing well. But even Ambuja, Grasim, ACC, all of them are up about 2 to 3%. So quite clearly a cement day as well. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us with your early morning thoughts. Any other questions you had?
No, I just had a question for Udayan. Udayan, on this subject of the auto sales, some of these companies, there's still no sign of a revival. I mean, Tata Motors, for example, it's up 4% today. But if you look at the last China data that came out last month, the sales were still down about 50-odd%. Do you buy into the distress now, or do you wait for to see a couple of months before taking that call that the worst is over?
It depends on what your perspective is, Sonia. I think there are lots of people who look at autos as a sort of an evergreen blue chip sector where whenever valuations permit, they accumulate and they ride out some of the rough times. This as a strategy has actually not been a bad one, particularly in some of the evergreen four-wheeler stocks or the high-quality two-wheeler stocks. Now, the general feeling in the market also is that the commercial vehicle stocks are suffering because of axle load norms and because buying has stopped pre-elections, and it's only a matter of time, commencing in the July-September quarter, that these sales will start to come through once again. So this is a temporary blip according to a lot of people. Now, what will fly in the face of this kind of an argument is if there is a bad monsoon this time and the second half of the year we do not see a pickup in the monthly auto numbers. That, I think, will worry people that this is not just a temporary 6-month cyclical slowdown, which on hindsight will turn out to have been a great buying opportunity in some of the blue chip autos. But for now, I think you were discussing with your previous guest as well, some of these blue chip names might actually bear accumulation for now, and then see what things are post-monsoon. And if things improve, then it would have really been a good opportunity because valuations have corrected quite significantly over the last 6 months in the sector.
Okay, tell you something, cement stocks are just rising through the roof, especially the south-based stocks. Look at Ramco Cements now. That's the one stock which has now started to see some kind of buying. It was India Cement earlier. Now it's Ramco Cement which is joining in. That stock also, of course, largely south-based. That also doing well. Udayan, your thoughts on this big cement rally that we have seen? It's gone through such a protracted bear market, and now it's all of a sudden the momentum is just too strong.
You know, Anuj, it's a good point because cement is a sector which I'm terribly not fond of because it goes through these 5-6 years of periods where they don't make any money for investors and the wait is just too long. Sometimes they'll give you 2-3 years of a great run and you make a lot of money, but it requires a lot of patience to actually through cycles make money on cement. But I'll tell you what people are betting on. I think there's a general mood in the market right now that post-elections we will get into a different credit cycle and a different profit cycle. And the current rate cuts that you're seeing in the market and hopes of greater transmission are actually bolstering that kind of a thinking that after waiting so long, finally this rate cut cycle plus a hope that there will be a new earnings cycle which has begun will lead to capex picking up. And these are the early investors who are getting into cement to play a 3-4 year kind of a new credit and new profit cycle. Because capex has disappointed for so long, I think people are saying even if you are early by 6 months, it makes sense to get into the good cement companies right now. And I think what might have just triggered this move is the recent price hike that they've taken. But broadly, the game is this new credit cycle which people are beginning to bet on. I don't know if people are now seeing everything through rose-tinted glasses because of global liquidity and election outcome expectations. And second half, we falter once again. But right now, this is the talk on the ground, which is leading to some of the industrials and the cement companies rallying once again.
Okay, before we let you go, where are your sympathies? You expect that big growth in earnings to come?
It's a guessing game, Lata. It's if you ask me today what do you think the election outcome will be, it is like that. Because right now there are very few growth data
like
points.
That. It's not like
if,
that.
If I had to pick up things which are data points, like...
No, election is a binary event.
What
Here
do
you can look at data.
Expectation on growth picking up. I am looking at data, but in the data it's so mixed right now. I mean, if you look at autos, you look at freight, you look at power, and you're not getting the sense that growth is about to pick up. But it may pick up post-elections and post-monsoons. So I think right now, anybody who's making a prediction on growth, there is a large element of hope, and you cannot, whoever you are, you cannot say that I will conclusively proclaim that growth is going to pick up post-June because of these data points, because those data points are just not there. It may pick up, and we'll see when we come to that stage.
Okay, thank you very much, Udayan. I mean, I appreciate your point. You know, ultimately, animal spirits and confidence are ambivalent things, intangibles, and maybe they pick up when confidence is there, when you think that global growth has picked up and the credit cycle is in your favor. So you may be right. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Okay, well, we need to get back to the markets now. Looking pretty good, actually, up almost 0.6%. The mid-cap index is up 130 odd points. Couple of mid-cap stocks. Welspun Corp is one stock that's rallying quite a bit. The company has signed an agreement with Laptef Finance to sell its plates and coils mills division for almost 850 odd crores. So Welspun Corp should come up for you.
And that's a big news for the company, because you know what happens with this is that was their loss-making division. That's getting hived off. So that's why that's an important stock, and in fact, one of the top gainers right now.